What is it?
Some sort of
hot tub time machine.
Starring 2 Avengers?
It's a working theory.
Is this really happening?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boys, PD and Cal, and today we're talking about Wandavision number 4, episode number 4. And yes, there is incredible revelations here. One of the best episodes ever. We are just following ourselves saying, yo, Marvel is the best. Here it follows the story of what happened, what is happening outside the bubble, what is happening outside the bubble of Wanda. So we're going to be spoilers here naturally. We're going to be talking about stuff, but at the very end, we're going to say, we love this, right? So what happens? Monica Rambeau is kicked out.
What about us? Did you introduce us? Oh, I forgot that. I missed that. You introduced us?
You missed it. Yes, I did.
Sure?
I introduced you both. I said,
okay, keep going.
My kindly old.
You let us say hello or something?
Okay, so I wanted to control what you're going to say. That's why I asked for the control.
Usually you let us say what's up. That's why I always say, I've been forgetting you to introduce us. You don't even let us say what's up anymore.
I thought better of that. I thought better of that because I think you guys go off on a tangent. You know, you guys are going to be asked specific questions about each point. Okay, so continuing on, we find the blip has happened and Monica Rambeau is being reestablished, and she comes out and she finds out her mom is dead. Her mom helped to establish Sword, and Sword is what, sentient weapons.
Give it up.
You're right. Forget it. She's Sword organization, basically.
Yeah, Sword. Thank you. That's all.
And they basically are protecting the world. So they send her out on a mission. She can't go to space because she's an astronaut and she's a captain, because her mother institutes some type of policy which says no more people who come back from the blip can go. So this is like 5 years after this whole shebang is going on. So she goes to Westview, and guess who she meets? Andy, I think it's Andy Wu, right? The guy from Ant-Man, the FBI investigator from Ant-Man, whereby
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Where he is, thank you, Pete. So where he's trying to look for a missing persons case. They go over there to Westview, and it seems that it's messing with people's minds because there's some cops saying Westview doesn't exist. And she tries to see what's going on. She puts her hand through the bubble. She's taken. And that's how she gets into Westview, and that's how we're seeing her before. Because this happens, a whole Sword operation response base gets set up out there, and I think within a day or two, everything is set up. They're bringing in Darcy from Thor. She's like the astrophysicist, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. But she's able to quickly figure out there's like a TV signal coming out of the bubble, and so she's able to see what we were seeing before on the TV show. And basically, that's what's up. What's going on? How did this happen? And some of the elements there. And I'll let you guys talk a little bit more on that. So, starting off with the revelation of Monica Rambeau, what did you guys think about that whole thing? How do you think about the implementation of they're bringing in the blip into the whole episode? Petey?
Okay. With this,
thank you.
No, I'm finishing what I have to say. With this episode, they go back to the sort of storytelling that we've seen in the Marvel DVD shorts, giving you tidbits and continuity and characters that we've seen before, all mashed together in this episode. So this almost could feel like a first episode. And I think a lot of sentiment online is like, this, now it kind of paid off. Everything paid off. But I do not agree. So you had, as you said, the blip, which I'm not, that what do they say?
It's pretty low using the kids, Marcus.
That's pretty low of you trying to use in Infinity War Marvel. Pretty low, like going for the easy way out. That people
they did it in Spider-Man, so they did it in Spider-Man. So don't even go.
I'm saying using that people like it. So it's like we're getting them back on our side after we had all these dull episodes, right? So you have that. I'll commend them. I'll say. Marvel, the TV show lost a lot of goodwill with those 3 episodes. So I wasn't ready to buy into this sort of Marvel fun, but the storytelling was there. It was okay, right? It's okay, the whole build up. I think Tiana Paris, she might be with child, because she was waddling around in that episode. She has all this gear on and she goes up and she's like waddling up to the actual wall. But anyway, she goes up there. I'm a big fan. She's a great actress, decent Monica Rambeau. So I'm cool with it as it goes. I'm kind of iffy on Sword deciding, hey, we're space guys. We're gonna have you do something on the ground. Your sword, call in shield. Call in shield, but they got to use the IP, so they're using sword. And I don't know, I don't think her mother was connected to the comic book version, but you have to have some sort of continuity. They're playing the continuity, all bits that we remembered, so they she's a part of sword. So they get past that with all these little dialogue things to sort of connect the connective tissue to make it say, oh yeah, they planned it all out. So anyway, she goes in. But then we go to, what's her name, Darcy. Now, Darcy is, of course, if we're fans, and even people are iffy on Thor, you're always cool with Darcy. So you're following her along, and she does her findings, but then she says something cosmic, but then there's a TV feed. And I'm like, all right, come on, guys. You kind of pushing your luck here, but we got to move on, right? So she's the person watching this and taking notes, but she's not taking notes. She's just taking notes about Wanda and the Vision. She doesn't, she's not interested in the stuff we're saying about this. What is it? It's the Easter egg hunt. She needs to be looking at more stuff instead of just clocking Wanda. She needs to clock the freaking commercial. None of the scientists saw the Strucker stuff. Nobody saw the, what's the name? That's the sort of Hydra soap. That's the thing where they're supposed to be like flipping out and saying, hey, this is, I don't know what's going on here. This is concentrating on the commercial. And like, what was it? Like back in the day, what did they do? Turn away from the commercials?
They say a man is never fully dressed without two important accessories. Do you need a break?
You read my mind.
Come with me.
She should be writing that stuff down. So then they go through the whole watching the actual shows. And I think that's punishment enough for Darcy, stuck watching those episodes of bad TV. But then they give you a little more stuff and a little more information. I'm trying to sell you that Wanda is bad. They're trying to sell you on that House of M stuff, that she's the bad one. But we've already saw these tidbits, of these villains. Right? Or this villainous organization, right? They killed all of our ideas that there was AIM and all that other stuff. They killed that. That's done. But ultimately, we still have Hydra. We still have Baron Strucker. It could be set up. That could be Wanda. But at the same time, I'm still betting on a villain pushing this happening and possibly another surprise in this. So I will say, to say all that, it was just okay. I did not like them having to watch those episodes again because I already saw it. Wasn't it getting pushed out and saying it's all Wanda? It feels like they're trying to give us have us go one way when I think we should concentrate on Hydra and Baron Strucker as some sort of tidbit that's going to lead us somewhere. And possibly from the graphics, Vision is tied in. It's not just Wanda. Vision is tied in this thing too, even though they try to sell us on, how we saw Vision. So I would say this is just okay, but it's on the level of storytelling like the those shorts, like the what's the name, the Agent Carter short, or the anything that they've done which was on the DVD stuff. It's on that level of storytelling, but it has the Marvel feel. It's not on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of thing, but this is sort of filmic, that sort of stuff. So I'm giving it a okay. Okay.
So since Kyle and I are on the same side on what we have some issues with some of the things that you basically said. Clearly, I don't think it was an okay episode. It was a great and enlightening episode.
Cal,
issues here. Don't worry, we're in sync.
Cal,
So don't worry about what.
We're not in sync.
Don't
You've been
worry.
like garbled.
we
For like
need
the
to hear
last,
what Cal has to say.
my connection with him has probably been bad. He's been garbled, so I don't know what malarkey he's been spinning for the last 5 minutes.
Okay, so now what were your thoughts? Because Mars is he trampled over you. Since
This should have been the first episode.
Would have got a lot of goodwill. Yes, keep going. Keep going.
This should have been the first episode. They could have they could have done a longer episode, maybe like an hour long, and let the first episode be about an hour long. And they could have had like these, literally, they could have had like clips of those shows that we saw initially, interspliced with the whole thing with Sword. And I thought that would have worked much better. I mean, Petey said something initially when we were reviewing that you don't really need to return to the first few episodes. I was like, okay, so I did that. I said, let me watch just the previous episode before the new one and see if I really needed to watch it. Then I don't. Okay, I could easily just pick up with the episode that we had right now and then just roll with it at the end of the day. I think you got a good eye. If it turns out that the actress who plays Monica Rambeau is pregnant, you got a good eye, Pete. Because when she was waddling, I thought she was having just trouble walking in those 1960s boots, those outfits. She's like, I'm not used to walking in these things. That's all I thought at the end of the day.
Okay.
But the other glaring thing is, okay, this is happening on Earth. Where is S.H.I.E.L.D.?
There we go. Yes.
Where is S.H.I.E.L.D.? S.H.I.E.L.D. should be FBI is there. Why is the FBI there? And S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't, S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't there. You should have, look, you should have the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, S.H.I.E.L.D., and SWORD is supposed to be up there with satellites, making certain nobody gets here to do this type of stuff. SWORD isn't supposed to take care of things. Well, we can't explain it, so let's call in SWORD. No.
Thank
You're
you.
supposed to be out there defending us in space, SWORD. You are worthless and obsolete, SWORD. We don't need you. You should have just had S.H.I.E.L.D. But Nick Fury's over there in having some pretend beach party on some spaceship out in space. So I guess nobody's here taking care of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh no, there is. There's supposed to be some Skrulls running around as him. Okay, and what his I don't want to call her an attaché. Okay, but it's supposed to be, what is the name again? Maria something. Can't remember. But these guys are supposed to be over here taking care of S.H.I.E.L.D. Where's S.H.I.E.L.D.? Bottom line is, this episode, strongest of the four, but yep, got to give it a strong okay, because you could have started with this and built off of it. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's more that can be said, but I don't really want to get into just hammering the show at the end of the day or being petty like some people. Like, I won't say any names, Mars. I don't want to, get into that whole thing.
Do you have any
Let me
critiques of the show? Do you have any critiques of the show, Mars? What did you find issues?
Didn't I just give my critique already?
No, you said it's very good, very promising.
Issues? There were no issues. Look, first of all, it makes perfect sense that SWORD has SWORD had an agent that went over to investigate this missing persons thing because they were using their top secret drones that was going to go check it. Then what happens? One of their agents disappears. This is like a baby thing. She just got back on. She's only 3 weeks out of the hospital. Instead of you guys saying, oh, they're giving her a little basic job. Hey, go help this guy out for the time being. And she goes there and she disappears. So you do not think the SWORD will automatically be involved? If the FBI lost an agent, if the Defense Intelligence Department lost an agent doing something, they're going to get out there and say, hey, this is our investigation. It's our people missing. Okay, technically, yes, it could be a S.H.I.E.L.D. I can't be. You talking about nitpicking? You would bring up something like that. I take offense. So I take your apologies too.
They supposed to be out in space.
There's nothing.
I don't buy it. That's malarkey. Okay, if an FBI agent goes missing, okay, the FBI doesn't automatically get to come in and do anything. Does the FBI have jurisdiction? If they don't, they got to get out of here. And so whoever has jurisdiction is going to take place of it. Unless you're going to have some FBI agent hot dog. You said right over there.
Hey, I'm watching.
Who has jurisdiction on the planet? S.H.I.E.L.D. That's who has jurisdiction on the planet. SWORD can say, oh, it's one of ours in there. Too bad. Go hot dogging it out there where the satellites are.
Look, I looked at. Why isn't James Poole a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? He's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in Marvel. Why isn't he S.H.I.E.L.D.? I mean, I was looking at it and I keep saying, I keep throwing out FBI. I keep throwing it out of my head and saying, isn't he a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent? So next thing you know, it's like, okay, no, he's.
You guys are digressing completely from what we have to do. You guys keep throwing more things in here. We're talking about this show, whether he was supposed to be or not. In Ant-Man, he was the FBI.
And S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. It's only him and Gabe Jones. That's all the representation.
There's more representation. So I'm getting back to the point. So Sword, it only makes sense. I'm watching the NCIS and CIS and all these other things, these what do you call that? SWAT, that we know that there's a thing where jurisdiction, they're going to definitely bring their people there. So that should be cut down. No more of that petty stuff. Now, in terms of the show, you know,
What?
how
Really?
can I say the only
What?
problem I have with the show is the length. Okay, these episodes are like what, 20, 22 minutes long, and then we got
24.
7.5 minutes of you know, what do you call that?
6
Trailers, credits.
End credits, 6 minutes, 24-minute show.
So it's just ridiculous how long the end credits are. And I think that therefore, but this episode I think was the best one yet because it felt complete. You watch the episode from the beginning to the end. I saw that, Petey. I saw the way your eyes just closed. I watched that episode from beginning to the end, and you're like, wow, it was a good episode. It gave us a beginning and it gave us a decent end. So Marvel's succeeding on that end. The first 2 episodes were a bit slow, but I think it was okay. It's just they're trying to be a little different, try something a little different. We don't know all the other shows, all right? But in terms of the show, now let's get into another aspect of the show. How do you feel about when Wanda realized what happened, what's going on? Do you think that she's in control of what's going on? Do you think that she is the one who is, I mean, I think they're taking the thing that Wanda did it, and that's what the character Monica and Rambeau basically tells everybody. She's the one in charge. She's the one handling everything. What's your take on that, gentlemen?
I don't know. I'm not buying into it yet. I mean, obviously she has some control over it, but I think she's being controlled ultimately. And I don't know if Vision has more of a play in this. So ultimately, I'm calling Hydra first, since they do all that digital stuff. I'm saying at the end in the credits, I'm saying Vision could be a part of it, or whatever is left of them could be a part of it. But I'm going for those, something in line controlling her or pushing her this way, not her. And ultimately, I'd be sad if it just turned out to be she's just she's upset because her boyfriend got killed. That's what I got. You upset with that?
Cal, can you go?
I don't care.
Then again, I'll answer for Cal once again.
It's
So,
been 4 weeks. Nothing's really happening. This is the first episode where some stuff actually stuff, and you could have done this already. I don't care if Wanda's in charge of it. I want to see a story. I want to see some things actually happen. I want the time that I have put into this show to pay off. And as of right now, it's not happening. Okay is not good enough for 4 weeks of my life.
Well, I want to ask you, Mars, like, all right, with this episode, as well done as it was, right? No, as well done as it was, what did we learn that we didn't know? All we got was, I wasn't about to answer it. Sorry, my apologies. So you answer that. Did you learn anything new in this?
We learned everything. We learned about when it happened. We learned about Monica and the blip. We learned what happened to Sword. We found out who and what they mean. Because again, Sword is now, they changed the acronym from what it means in the comics to what it means in the book.
About Wanda, about Wanda's world. Did we learn anything besides getting some backstory on it? Do we learn?
Yeah, we definitely learned. We learned that clearly she is in a town that she's controlling. There are people there who are, how can I say, who are regular people, and they were able to discover who they were.
Did you know that beforehand, though? Did you know that beforehand?
We didn't know that beforehand.
You saw her push her out of the thing, right? Who pushed her out? Every time there's a reset, she's involved with it, right? So I'm saying we know that.
That's what I was saying. I'm saying we know the people of the town. It's a town. We thought it could have been a fictional town, but it's a real town. So it's real people who are being held up. It's real people.
You knew that though with Agnes.
And we know Agnes is like a creature out there, but there's also another person people have been talking about, Dottie. The queen bee, may be somebody else too, you know?
Who's she?
So
she's Captain Marvel? She's Miss Marvel?
No, but I'm saying she may be influenced. It may be Hydra, it may be her. I'm not sure. Can't laugh at your own joke, Pete.
I'm saying that we didn't learn anything we didn't know.
I'm right back where I started, damn it!